Once upon a time, deep within a valley nestled between jagged mountains, lived creatures of every kind. There were birds that painted the sky with color, deer that grazed peacefully in the meadows, and countless insects that worked tirelessly among the grass and roots. It might have been a paradise, were it not for the shadow that darkened the land each morning and evening. That shadow belonged to the dragon. He was vast. His wings were wide enough to block the sun. His roar was strong enough to shake the trees. His scales shimmered like molten gold, and fire curled from his jaws even when he slept. The dragon did not live among the animals, he ruled over them. His cave sat high in the cliffs, but his presence reached every corner of the valley. Each week, he would descend, and the ground would tremble beneath his claws. He demanded tribute food, treasures, and sometimes even the freedom of the strongest beasts. "Give me what is mine," he would boom, "or I shall burn your fields and devour your kin." And so, every creature feared him. They obeyed, not because they believed he deserved loyalty, but because they could not imagine life without his shadow. Among the smallest of creatures was an ant. She had no name to others. Ants were too numerous and too humble for names. She lived in a colony near the roots of an ancient oak tree, where tunnels twisted beneath the soil like veins. She spent her days carrying crumbs, digging chambers, and following the lines of her sisters. Life was routine, steady, and safe so long as they offered their share to the dragon when he came. But the ant was not content. Each time she looked at the sky darkened by the dragon's wings, her heart burned. Why should we, who are so many, cower before one? She whispered to herself, why should our lives belong to his hunger? We are not born only to feed another's fire. Her sisters hushed her. Be silent, they urged. An ant who speaks against the dragon brings danger to us all. Do your work, keep your head low. That is survival. Yet the ant's spirit could not be quieted. Every step she took seemed heavier with the weight of injustice. At night, while others rested, she would crawl out and stare at the mountain where the dragon slept, firelight flickering from his cave. She wondered what it would take to stand against him. Of course, the thought was absurd. What power did an ant have against a dragon? He could scorch hundreds of them with a single breath. His tail could shatter their hill with one swipe. To challenge him would be madness. And yet, the ant remembered something her grandmother once said, the mighty may rule with fire, but even fire cannot burn forever. Sometimes it is the smallest that outlasts the flames. Those words lingered in her heart like a seed waiting to sprout. One day, as the dragon descended and the valley shook with terror, the ant watched as a family of rabbits offered baskets of carrots, trembling under his gaze. She saw birds lay their brightest feathers at his claws. She saw even the proud stag lower his antlers in submission. And in that moment, the ant felt a surge of clarity. This is wrong, she whispered. If no one dares to rise, then even the generations yet unborn will live under his shadow. If no one dares to resist, then our valley will never know freedom. That night, while her sisters slept, the ant crawled out once more and looked at the mountain. The stars shimmered above, countless and eternal. She thought of her grandmother's words. She thought of her colony, who believed survival meant silence. And she made her decision. I am small, she said, her voice trembling but resolute. But I will climb the mountain. I will face the dragon. If I perish, let it be known that at least one ant dared to say, enough, and so began her journey. The climb was long and merciless. The ant was dwarfed by blades of grass that seemed like trees and pebbles that seemed like boulders. The mountain towered above her, its slopes jagged and cruel. Each step seemed impossible, yet she pressed on, her determination stronger than her tiny body. Along the way, she encountered others. First was a crow, perched on a branch above. He laughed when he saw her crawling. Where are you going, little speck? The mountain is no place for insects, to the dragon, she replied. The crow cawed with laughter. Foolish thing. He will crush you before he even notices you. Better to live quietly and peck at crumbs than to chase such madness. Better to die with purpose, the ant answered, than to live forever in fear. The crow tilted his head, surprised by her words. He did not follow her, but he no longer mocked. Further up, she met a fox, sleek and cunning. He slinked beside her and said, "You are brave, little one, but bravery is nothing without cunning. If you truly wish to defeat the dragon, you must trick him. Hide in his cave, poison his food, strike when he sleeps." The ant considered his words but shook her head. Trickery may wound, but it cannot change the truth. If the valley is to be free, it must be by courage, not deceit. We cannot replace fear with more shadows, the fox smirked. Then you will surely fail, and with that, he trotted away. At last, near the cliffs, the ant met a tortoise, old and wise. His shell bore the scars of many years, and his eyes gleamed with patience. "Why do you climb, little one?" he asked gently. "To face the dragon," she said. The tortoise studied her in silence, then nodded. "You are small?" "Yes. But small things, when persistent, can shape the world. A river is nothing but drops of water, yet it carves mountains. If you truly go with courage, then know this: victory is not always in defeating the enemy. Sometimes it is in awakening those who no longer believe." The ant bowed deeply. These words sank into her heart, lighting her path. By the time she reached the dragon's cave, her legs ached and her body trembled with exhaustion, but her spirit burned brighter than ever. Confrontation to be continued in Part 3.